Are billionaires going broke? I highly doubt it. Schumer says wait until new president to name the SCOTUS. Mitch McConnell says to Schumer, I don't think so. Weiner laptop emerges. Me personally, I think we're being gaslit. But we'll get into it. And lastly, Ellen DeGeneres is sorry. I'm not buying it. Welcome back to the Daily Facts. So, we have an article from the Business Times. Billionaire Ron Perlman selling almost everything as pandemic roils his empire. Oh my goodness. Bit by bit, billionaire Ronald Perlman is parting with his treasures. Is that money? Is that a treasure to him? Okay, well, his Gulfstream 650 is on the market. So is his 257-foot yacht. Movers hauled crates of art from his Upper East Side townhouse after he struck a deal with Sotheby's to sell hundreds of millions of dollars of works. Wow. He's unloaded his stake in Humvee maker AM General, sold a flavorings company that he'd owed for decades, and hired banks to find buyers for stock he holds in other companies. What in the world is going on with Ron Perlman? Well, I think everybody, after reading all of that, would ask that question. So let's see if this article is going to tell us. His exploits on and off Wall Street have been tabloid fare in New York since the go-go 1980s. But now, at an age when most fellow billionaires are kicking back, Mr. Perlman, 77, is facing a range of financial challenges, most of all at Revlon, his cosmetics giant. Okay, so he owns Revlon. Well, I guess people, when there's a pandemic, you don't have much use for makeup, right? No, who cares about lipstick? You're staying at home anyway. Once touted as America's richest man, his wealth has dropped from 19 billion to 4.2 billion in the past 2 years. Wow, according to the Bloomberg Billionaires Index. He went from 19 billion to 4 billion in 2 years. That is more than half of his wealth. Bankers, socialites, and art collectors have been buzzing about Perlman since his investment company, McAndrews and Forbes, said in July it would rework its holdings in response to the coronavirus pandemic and the ravages it caused to American businesses, including his own. We quickly took significant steps to react to the unprecedented economic environment that we were facing, Mr. Perlman said in a statement. I have been very public about my intention to reduce leverage, streamline operations, sell some assets, and convert those assets to cash in order to seek new investment opportunities. And that is exactly what we are doing. All right, well, that tells you it in a nutshell. That tells you. I mean, he's selling everything. He's just getting rid of stuff. Revlon, which was slow to respond to shifting trends 20 years ago, has more recently lost sales to smaller beauty companies that lured customers with social media. Now revenue is plunging further because of store closures. The company has US 3 billion of debt. Some of its bonds trade at 14 cents on the dollar, and the company faces cash crunch in November. A Revlon spokesperson declined to comment. His problems aren't confined to lipstick. Mr. Perlman used his Revlon shares as collateral for McAndrews and Forbes' debt filing show. The shares have plunged 68% this year, a decline that would typically require lenders to seek additional collateral or repayment of the loans. Okay, so we get the idea here. It's trouble in paradise for this individual. And I would suspect there's a lot of wealthy people that are experiencing the bite of all that's going on right now. Well, Schumer, this is a Fox News article. Ginsburg vacancy should not be filled until we have a new president. I mean, that's a loaded statement. A new president? I mean, we have an existing president, and we're going to have the same president for 4 more years. So we're not going to have a new president, i.e., Joe Biden. That's not going to happen. Let's see what he has to say. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer on Friday said late Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg vacancy should not be filled until we have a new president. The American people should have a voice in the selection of their next Supreme Court justice, Schumer, Democrat of New York, tweeted Friday. Therefore, this vacancy should not be filled until we have a new president. Yeah, I like how he keeps throwing that, or this article keeps throwing that new president around. We have a president. His name is Donald Trump, and he'll be there for 4 more years, like it or not, Chucky Schumer. Schumer's tweet echoed the same sentiment of Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, Republican of Kentucky. In 2016, after late Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia passed away, Republicans, though, have indicated they would push forward with a vacancy in an election year. I mean, it seems reasonable that you would do that as a president. I mean, someone has passed away on the Supreme Court, they're gone, or whatever the case may be. In this case, she has died. And it seems logical and reasonable that you would prepare for a new one. You need that replacement. It's not like you should wait around. I mean, you need all the justices in order to, make judgments, right? So, I mean, we get the idea here. He wants to get that replacement, but he wants to wait until after the election because he believes in his heart of hearts that Joe Biden is going to win, which is ludicrous on its face. So therefore, when that new president comes in, we're going to get our SCOTUS, our Supreme Court justice. That's all that is being said here. Ginsburg's death leaves a vacancy, and several other justices are over 70, including Justice Stephen Breyer is 82, Clarence Thomas is 72, and Justice Samuel Alito is 70. Well, I mean, Ruth Bader Ginsburg was there until the age of 86, so 72 and 70 is young. And 82, you've got a few more years if you're basing it on her life. We'll see what happens. We're all going to know what happens with this one, right? Yeah. McConnell vows Trump's nominee to replace Ginsburg will get Senate vote, setting up historic fight. So like we just read on the previous article with Chucky Schumer wanting that to wait until after the election, Mitch McConnell saying that they need to push forward. This is from CNN. So let's get into it. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell vowed on Friday that whomever President Trump nominates to replace the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg will get a vote on the Senate floor, signaling a historic fight in Congress over one of the most polarizing issues in American politics. And I mean, they do have the Senate, right? So it seems reasonable that they would want to push it through and then get that confirmation from Congress, even though they don't have enough seats, and it's all interesting. We'll see. President Trump's nominee will receive a vote on the floor of the United States Senate, McConnell, a Kentucky Republican, said in a statement Friday evening that sets GOP lawmakers on a collision path with Democrats. Though the exact timing of such a fight, in particular how much it would happen ahead of or after Election Day, was not immediately clear. Senate Majority Whip Tom Thune, the number 2 GOP senator, backed McConnell, saying in a statement of his own, "I believe Americans sent a Republican president and a Republican Senate to Washington to ensure we have an impartial judiciary that upholds the Constitution and the rule of law. We will fulfill our obligation to them. As leader," McConnell has said, President Trump's Supreme Court nominee will receive a vote on the floor of the U.S. Senate. And he's right. I mean, President Trump ran on the Republican ticket. People want Republican SCOTUSes. I mean, that's just the way it is. That's just the name of the game, right? But the process could be sped up if McConnell, who controls the majority of the chamber, has the votes to confirm a replacement, and there is enough time to confirm someone in a lame duck session of Congress after the November elections. Okay, I see how they're playing it. They want to see if they can push it through the Senate, get that locked in, and then after they're hoping that they have the Congress, and then they'll just push that person right on through. That calculation is further complicated if Republicans lose control of the Senate and the White House after the election, and whether enough GOP senators would break ranks and oppose any nominee by a president who had just lost his election and a GOP Senate that just lost its majority. Senate Republicans, who hold the majority in the upper chamber, only need 51 votes to confirm a new justice once one is formally nominated. Currently, there are 53 GOP senators, meaning they can only lose 3 Republicans. In the event of a 50-50 split, Vice President Mike Pence would cast a tie-breaking vote. Okay. Already, Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski of Alaska and Susan Collins of Maine have said that there is not enough time to confirm someone before November. All right, so we get the idea. There's going to be a lot of back and forth, right? There's going to be people on both sides that say there's not enough time and we need to hold off until after the election. Plus, there's all sorts of things going on. All right, we'll see what happens. We'll follow it. All right, this next story comes from the Washington Examiner. October surprise. New details emerge about the FBI delay on Weiner laptop in 2016. Now, I have an opinion on the Weiner laptop. I don't think it is as horrendous as people are claiming that it is. As a matter of fact, I don't know anyone who could tell me that there's supposedly all of these horrific things on this video that's supposedly on the Weiner laptop. But nobody has said that, this is what's on it. There's been rumors, that the police, the New York Police Department, there were seasoned and police officers that threw up after what they saw. But nobody can point out who said that. We have even Sidney Powell. Sidney Powell, she is representing General Flynn. She was in a talk recently, and she had this to say about the Anthony Weiner laptop.
There's a lot that can be prosecuted. I have no doubt on that laptop. In fact, I heard that the New York police officers who saw some of it, even though they're hardened investigators, literally had to go throw up.
Okay, but if you listen carefully to what she says, she said, I heard, or something to that effect, right? Well, that's the problem with this laptop. Everybody heard things about it, but nobody has said this is in fact what happened. At any rate, let's get into the article. New details have emerged about 2016's October surprise, during which the FBI found emails belonging to former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton on disgraced New York Rep Anthony Weiner's laptop. And the FBI official who found the emails revealed for the first time. Okay, so FBI agent John Robertson, he worked in the New York office, right? And in the Justice Department, Inspector General Michael Horowitz's 2018 report on the handling of the investigation of Clinton's unauthorized private email server was quoted by the Washington Post's Devlin Barrett for his upcoming book, October Surprise, How the FBI Tried to Save Itself and Crashed an Election. Robertson unearthed tens of thousands of Clinton emails in late September 2016 on the laptop belonging to Weiner, the husband of top Clinton aide Huma Abedin. Okay, but for weeks after being alerted, top FBI leaders, including fired FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe, fired FBI agent Peter Strzok, and former FBI counterintelligence chief Bill Priestap, took little to no action to investigate. A letter from fired FBI Director James Comey to Congress in late October about the email discovery shortly after he was finally briefed on it disrupted the election and would be blamed by some for President Trump's victory. And I agree. I mean, he came out with that loaded statement about the emails, and then he said no, and I'm paraphrasing here, no reasonable prosecutor would prosecute. That's loaded. That just throws Hillary Clinton under the bus. Okay, well, this doesn't tell us anything either. It just goes into, the emails, which I do believe exist. But everything else, I think, is hogwash. I think people are just dreaming when it comes to this laptop and what's on it. I think it's gaslighting, honestly. Okay, lastly, we're going to talk a little Ellen DeGeneres. This is a Fox News article. Ellen DeGeneres addresses toxic work environment scandal on show's season 18 return. I take responsibility. The talk show host voiced her commitment to growing as a person. All right, well, let's listen to a little bit of this apology before we get into the news article, okay?
All right, let's get to it. As you may have heard, this summer there were allegations of a toxic work environment at our show, and then there was an investigation. I learned that things happened here that never should have happened. I take that very seriously, and I want to say I am so sorry to the people who were affected. I know that I'm in a position of privilege and power, and I realize that with that comes responsibility, and I take responsibility for what happens at my show. This is the Ellen DeGeneres Show. I am Ellen DeGeneres. My name is there. My name is there. My name is on underwear. We have had a lot of conversations over the last few weeks about the show, our workplace, and what we want for the future. We have made the necessary changes, and today we are starting a new chapter. Being known as the Be Kind Lady is a tricky position to be in. So let me give you some advice out there. If anybody's thinking of changing their title or giving yourself a nickname, do not go with the Be Kind Lady. Don't do it. The truth is, I am that person that you see on TV. I am also a lot of other things. Sometimes I get sad, I get mad, I get anxious, I get frustrated, I get impatient, and I am working on all of that.
All right, so there you have it. That's Ellen's apology. You take it for what you think it's worth. I find it hard to believe, impossible to believe, that Ellen didn't know what was going on. And, I mean, people can change, but I think after a certain point, you're really going to be the person that you're going to be. Right? So anyway, let's get into it. Ellen DeGeneres started season 18 of her show by addressing the accusations of a toxic work environment. And it was, according to a lot of people that out there on social media and whatnot, a lot of people were coming out. The claims of a toxic work environment have plagued the host's reputation over the past few months. In her opening monologue, which first appeared on the show's YouTube channel, DeGeneres, who's 62, took responsibility for the scandal. I mean, she's 62. Not that you can't change, but I just don't see it. As you may have heard, this summer there were allegations of a toxic work environment at our show, and then there was an investigation. I learned that things happened here that never should have happened, she began. DeGeneres continued, I take very seriously, and I want to say I am so sorry to the people who were affected. I know that I am in a position of privilege and power, and I realize that with that comes responsibility, and I take responsibility for what happens at my show. Okay, well, we'll end it there. So we'll just wait and see. We'll wait and see what Ellen does. Because, like the saying goes, a leopard doesn't change its spots. Well, that's it. Thanks for stopping by the Daily Facts. Do like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment below. We'll talk again soon. Bye!